Geek
As
Squad.
usual, I like to catch it at 7 minutes after 7. Yes, so the moment I catch at that time, Spiky's in the building. And when Spiky's in the building, it means it's Geek Squad time, tech talking, bits and bytes, megahertz, gigahertz, terabytes, everything technology. Yep, that's what 7 o'clock on Joy 99.7 brings you. Now, if you're listening to us in your car, at home, with your kids, you want to tell them, or you want to tell a friend to listen, because tech is ruling the world. And I know a lot of you realized that when it was lockdown time, when all you had was your gadgets, all you had was technology, you had nothing else, maybe besides your family and food. But then you'd be pressing your phone and your tablets, and your Netflix was your buddy. There's some countries that are still in lockdown, and trust me, technology is keeping them sane. All the TikToking, all the Instagramming, Facebooking, and tweeting. Yes, over here on this show, we talk about tech. We tell you how you can leverage tech to make your life better, to make your life easier. And sometimes we tell you how to make more money, like we're about to do right now. Before our main conversation, we want to talk about Who Pro. Is it Who Pro?
Oh yeah, whoop whoop. Yeah, it's Whoop Pro. It's Whoop Pro.
I like whooping. Yeah. So this actually, this is easy for me. It's like whoop whoop. Everybody knows, like, so Who Pro.
Yeah,
now,
you got it right.
Who Pro. What is Who Pro?
Should I start talking about
before
what
you
the
start,
name even means?
Before you start, I want people to know the name behind the voice. So who am I talking to?
Right. I'm Ellie Daniel Wilson.
Yes.
I am the team lead for Whoop Pro.
Right.
And Whoop Pro is a social media marketing influencer marketing platform that is going to bring brands and influencers onto one platform to do what they already do a lot easier and a lot smarter.
Interesting. So should I say it's a social media platform for people who want to make more money?
You would be right if you said that.
Great. Now, we want to know why the name Whoop Pro?
So you got it right when you said whoop whoop. It's a lot of excitement, right? We what we are bringing is it's a lot of fun, a lot of excitement, and there's another twist to it. So we coined the name from whoop whoop, as you know it, like an excitement, which is inspired by what social media is. A place where people go to have fun, a place where there's a lot of excitement, everything is moving fast. It's such a whoopy world, right? And we decided to bring business to it.
Right.
So social media, as you know it, we are saying you can monetize your influence as a brand that you're trying to find your voice on social. There's also the channel of using influencers to do that, and we are saying we are bringing the business, which bet professional, pro. Right. So we coined the word from whoop and professional, aka Whoop Pro. Nice.
Now, let me give my first whoop whoop. I want to be a Whoop Pro. Now, talking about influencers,
right?
Yeah, we've seen a whole lot of that happening on, especially Instagram. Everybody's calling themselves an influencer now. Like the fact that I can post something and say, "Hey, buy this," or use this, it means that I'm an influencer. What is all these influencers, and who can be an influencer?
Kobby, let me tell you something that some of them do. Apparently, I discovered, and it was very surprising to me. They buy products of themselves and they pretend like they got it from a brand and say, "Hey, I'm an influencer." That is how much people want to come out as influencers. But I have good news for people like that. So, Whoop Pro, we are saying that all the clout you have on social, all the followers, the engagement you get, it's all good and dandy. However, you could make more out of it, which is engage a brand, or a brand could engage you as an influencer to drive their digital campaign or promote their brand or a product. So currently, we are not here to say nobody's doing social media influencer marketing. We get people who are doing it, but we are saying you can do it a lot better, a lot smarter, a lot more cost efficient. And for influencers, we think you can earn more from what you're currently earning. So for brands, Whoop Pro is a tool that you can use to discover the best of influencers out there. It's a tool that is going to put power in your hands. So if you're a marketer out there, brand manager, and you want to start a campaign, you can just, from the comfort of your office, open your laptop, go to whoopro.com. You go on there, you sign up as a brand, you create a campaign, and then you just proceed to upload your funds, select the right influencers, and next thing you know, your digital your social campaign is live. And it gets better because unlike how things are currently done, where if you engage an influencer, you have to wait for them to send you a screenshot or tell you I got this number of engagement and all of that. You can track all of that in real time from your Wupro dashboard.
Right.
So it's so much power. Like there's so much control over the campaign. You're already doing it, but now you can do it a lot smarter and a lot more efficiently as well.
Cool. So anyone, no age limits, can be an influencer.
I would say that cautiously because even social media platforms have an age limit of 13, right?
Yeah.
And for brands that have age restrictions as well, we do not advise you to use influencers that are underage, alcohol, and
Right.
So those are just ethics you have to go by. But in general, anybody with the clout on social media can join our platform and get discovered by a brand and be on your way to becoming a top influencer, earning more and making the most out of your social media.
How important is influencer marketing to brands?
So currently, the way the trends are going, it's getting easier to have this conversation with brands because they've seen how impactful influencers can be for their campaigns and their general brand awareness and general brand campaigns. So influencers give you an extra mileage than you would as a brand if you were speaking about your campaign or your product. Influencers are important because in today's world, people believe, and which is a general consumer behavior, if we are being honest. It's a general consumer behavior that you, Kobby, would believe what your friend recommends versus what a brand says I can give you.
True.
So brands understanding that is what is going to get through to you, I would take advantage of that and speak to you through influencers. So influencers are important, and there are best practices. Before you use an influencer, it's best you find an influencer who already has the voice in your niche, in your industry.
Oh, so like Spiky can be an influencer in tech.
For tech, exactly. So do not quickly just go for numbers and say, oh, you have the numbers. Post here, I didn't remember why. Nah. Okay. The conversion will be low because they are speaking to the wrong audience. However, if you spoke about tech, you spoke about a device you've used, or you're recommending a particular device, believe me, the conversion will be higher because it is you, and we know you've built your voice in tech and you're credible in that sector. So that is what we advise brands to do. So on our platform, you can discover influencers based on their interest, their industry. You can do that filtering. It's such a powerful tool that we've brought for brands to just take advantage of. So
if now I know brands can sign up, how about influencers? Do they also sign up or they are found?
So we designed the platform as a self-service platform. So it's a platform that if you're hearing me right now and you have social media and you're on social media, you have followers, you've been thinking about when would I get my first social media influencer gig? I'm here to tell you, go into the Google Play Store, go to Apple App Store, download Wupro, WHOOPRO, download Wupro, and you after you've downloaded the app onto your phone, it's simple to sign up. We've made 2 easy steps. You can either use email and password. We'll send you the verification code. You put in the verification code, voila, you are in there, and you can start discovering campaigns. Alternatively, you could also join with your social media account. So you just come on there, Facebook, Twitter, you authenticate, and then you're in there. On the homepage of the app, you would see home, discover campaigns, profile, notifications. You just go to discover. We have some campaigns running on there. Maybe now would be a good time to talk about how we launched. I don't know if you saw it, but we launched with Kelvin Boy when he was putting out his Black Star album. So that was a campaign that was running for a week. Kelvin Boy is giving back to his fans. He says he wants to be the artist that would not only tell you to go download his songs, but he wants to give back to his fans. So we partnered with Kelvin Boy to launch a campaign called Black Star on Wupro. And in that campaign, you request to join. When you accept and you post about the Black Star album, you earn. It's that easy.
Cool. Now, money.
Ooh.
Is it free?
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, I need to know because I'm about to sign up. I need to make me some influencer gig money, but I need to know, do I need to pay to sign up or anything?
No, you do not need to pay.
Oh, I don't need to. So it's free. Like I just my social media,
that's
everything.
It.
Just
that's
sign up.
It. Like this is the best news of 2020.
Oh wow!
Sign up and start making money. I mean, it's too good to be true that it's so true. That's it. We took our time to do this. So we on our platform, brands we have different packages for brands.
Mhm.
We have the standard, the enterprise, and the agency. Now, what that means is if you want more functionalities out of the platform, then you would pay. But with the standard, you can get by with your campaigns and get things done. And for brands as well, because we took our time to develop tools that would make your life a whole lot easier, that's the only thing you pay for, which is about 15% of your campaign budget. And we know that's competitive compared to other ways you would have done it.
Yeah.
But for influencers, you earn what you deserve. So when you make a post, you can see how much you earn in your media kit. You earn based on how much followers, how much engagement you get, and then you just proceed. You can withdraw straight into your mobile money. I mean, you...
Cool.
I know. I mean,
Wait,
straight into your mobile money.
Let me ask the big question. Can I become a millionaire just from influencer marketing? So,
I would ask how much followers you have, how much engagement you get.
That's required.
Yeah, because you could get $1 million off of Wupro, but it would take you a bit longer than somebody who walks around with 5 million followers in their pockets, and they can monetize theirs a lot quicker.
So it's hugely dependent on how many people are following. What if I have people following people who follow me, and then they hear through, it's like an echo. When I talk, the other people hear through the other people who are following me. Can't I, because maybe I may be here and I may not have a Shatawali or Stoneboy following, but I have my small army who have their army. Isn't that something, to count?
It is something. So the way we've designed the platform, it doesn't just take your followers. We look at your average engagement rate. So we scan your page and see how much engagement you get per post, and that also is factored into how much you earn. So indeed, you may have small followers, but when you post, you get a lot of engagement. It will show in your engagement rate, and that would make you earn more than somebody who has the same followers but doesn't get the same engagement. Cool.
Now, this is very exciting, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people who are listening who have lots of following, all my friends who are, all of those who are listening, listen, you've been using social media, you've been posting stuff, you're making people laugh, you're making people enjoy it.
I know.
But here's the time to turn it into a business. Those tertiary students who are not in school, you're home, all you do is snap, all you do is Instagram and post that pic on Facebook or Twitter. Now's the time. You could be making money. I'm not saying bench your education. No, still learn, because who knows that we don't own Facebook or Instagram. Mark Zuckerberg could wake up on the wrong side of the bed and say, I'm shutting down. And then your influencer occupation just, comes to a grinding halt. But this would be a time to leverage this as a side hustle. So you just heard it. Wupro on Google Play Store, Wupro on App Store. Download it. If you have the followers, Charlie, make money. And if you're a brand and you're a tech brand, I'm here with Spiky. I'm signing up. So, look out for me on Wupro. I'll be influencing people. Right? Yeah. Positively. So, it's great having you guys here. I will have you again, and you tell people how to leverage social media to grow their following. Because people have social media and they want to grow the following so it can become influencer again. Maybe one time I'll have you here so you can educate people.
Anytime.
And then they can come on Wupro. And then whoop, whoop, whoop. That's what it is. So yes, you've been listening to the guys from the guy actually, because they called it in talk.
I know.
Yeah, called it in talk. So but then it was a fun conversation. If you're listening and you're on social media, you want to make something out of it, go check out Wupro. Yeah, we'll have them back on to teach you how to create content that you can monetize. Stay on, we have more to come. We'll be right back. So if you've been following our series from last week, we've been talking about techpreneurs. And today on our Techpreneur series, we have Mr. Nelson Madiba Amo. He's the CEO of InnoHub Limited. He's the president of DT Automated Systems and the Ghana Tech Lab. And he's joining us today to have a conversation about being a techpreneur or becoming a techpreneur. Maybe you are at the bottom of the staircase looking to climb to the top and become a techpreneur. He's the man who's going to be telling you all you need to know about becoming a techpreneur. Mr. Nelson Madiba Amo, do you have a nickname?
Nickname?
Yeah.
Papanelli.
Papanelli. You know why? This is a tech show. Now, let me tell people why I like nicknames.
Yeah.
Nicknames are like IP addresses.
Right.
They are unique.
I know, right?
You see, a name, I know a lot of Nelsons. So if I call you Nelson, and then there are 3 Nelsons around, what if I say Papanelli? You're the only one who's going to respond.
Exactly.
So that's your IP address. Yeah. So, Papanelli, a.k.a. Mr. Nelson Madiba Amo.
Yes.
Tell us who you are.
So, Spiky, thanks for having me.
Thank
Good
you.
evening to our friends out there listening to this program. It's quite an interesting question when I'm asked, who are you? I think I'm just one easygoing, ambitious go-getter out there trying to make things happen for God and country.
Nice. For God and country. That means like a patriot.
Yes.
A techpreneur who's a patriot as well. That's a very good thing. That means that a business is going to stay in Ghana. No, not going to get bought out by some international company and then run away, right?
We just want to be big. Just make it big any way possible.
Nice. Okay, now we've been running this techpreneur series, and last week when we started, someone called me like, what is a techpreneur? And I'm like, really? Are you asking me this question? But I'm going to let you tell us. What is a techpreneur in your opinion?
So, I mean, the base is entrepreneur, and then the numerator, you may call it the technology. So, technology entrepreneur.
Right.
So, anybody who is running his business venture, particularly in the field of technology, that would be what we call techpreneur.
Nice. So a technology entrepreneur, techpreneur.
Basically.
So those who didn't know, now you know. I mean, my listeners are smart. They probably knew. That person who asked me was just trying to pull my legs. But then again, people need to be educated.
Right.
So you are the CEO of InnoHub.
Yes.
And DT Automated Systems at the Ghana Tech Lab.
Yeah.
Tell us about these 3 things.
Okay. So yes, I think just by way of background, started off with InnoHub as the main company, which is an accelerator. We support businesses to grow. Right. We typically a growth consultant firm, but we have a very unique interest for small and growing businesses in our programming. DT Automated Systems Limited essentially is a company we've started that provides, as the name suggests, automation support for fuel stations. Okay. We noticed that for most fuel station operators, locally, globally, they have challenges with getting on the spot, on the dot, accurate reporting. So if I want to see what happened at my station in the last 2 seconds, how do I get that? So we've built this platform that basically helps you, no matter your location. If you have 100 stations, at the click of a button, you could actually see live transactions. So if you go to a platform, you could see if I have 8 pumps at a station, I could see, okay, at this time, 5 of them are dispensing fuel to customers. Wow. And it gives you, like I said, real-time reporting for what you do. I will go into the details later on, but for now, just the overview of these. And then we also have Ghana Tech Lab, which is a joint venture between InnoHub and a partner called Kumasi Hive. Right. We won a bid from the Ministry of Communication, basically to be able to set up what we call an ecosystem lab that is just to support the development of tech capabilities as well as tech startups in the country. So we do that through training, incubation, acceleration, and seed fund support for these ventures. Just to mention, we also have a company called Accra Angels Network, and that is basically, as the name suggests, a business angels network we've set up to be able to rally young Ghanaians, individuals who have a bit of disposable income, who may want to invest in SMEs and startups, to do that through a channeled platform. again, finally, I also have invested in a fund called Wangara Green Ventures. That is a fund that invests mostly what you call climate tech business or climate smart businesses. So that is basically what I'm involved in mostly.
Wow, you're a busy man.
I try.
Papa Nelly, the busy man. Papa Nelly is doing a whole lot of things.
Spiky.
Yeah, I mean, I find it very, very, very difficult to manage my time. And that's no joke. So, as a techie, I have like 3 different reminder applications on my phone that I'm using. And you're doing all this. I need to understand, how do you get this done? How do you manage all these companies?
I think one of the things I try not to do is never to press the panic button. Sometimes you just need to take it easy, and you ask, how do you get it all done? You have this, you have that, you have that. A number of times my wife says, I think you're just a different breed of human being, because in the midst of all of this, you just take it cool. I think you just need to take it cool, just sit back and plan. I think no matter what, you only have 7 days a week. There is no 8th day yet created. Maybe that would come in a slash, but and each
now,
of these
days.
is just 24 hours in these 7 days. You have part of this for sleep, for eating, for relaxation, for working. So you need to be able to plan the time you have very well. Every day, I mean, the basic things that we were taught, things that taking my notepad or my diary and I write my to-do list. I have the phone reminders I set up. So times you ask me, can I meet you tomorrow? I will tell you, well, it's not possible. And that is basically because I pre-plan my schedule. So if I open my Google Calendar, you basically see meetings already booked in December.
Wow.
And that is because I try to get quite organized. But beyond all of these, I still sit down when I get to the office. Sometimes when I wake up at dawn, just try to organize my thoughts, see how my day is going to run through, and just write them down. I'll do A, B, C, D, and make sure end of day, just take a paper to take it off and say, okay, this is done, and this is done. Those are the basic things that we just, nothing special, nothing extraordinary.
Actually, there's one extraordinary thing, that zen that you've got. Like, if you're listening, you can tell how Papa Nelly's like super cool. Like the man is sitting here just talking, just write it down, checklist, tick, this is done, this is done. Like, it takes a whole amount of discipline to be this cool. Some of us, we are walking adrenaline pumps, constantly bursting with energy. Like, it would take me a lot of energy to cool down.
And it's a challenge. I mean, for me, I churn ideas by the minute, and I noticed that if I don't sit down to just keep it tracked, write them down, I'm just going to be all over the place. Before I started Hub, I had about 4 different ideas on paper, and I had to just sit down and say, which of these could be the immediate low-hanging fruit? Which of them can I really start with and eventually hive off and get the others done? If not, I was just going to run all over the place with so many things at the same time, and nothing really would get done. So at a point, just sit back and say, hey, what can I do now? What can I do next? What can I do after that? And what do I not have to do? Sometimes we try to do everything, and really you're not a Superman. Yeah.
It's like your computer. You overload it with applications.
It would slow down. It would hang. It would crash.
So, tip number 1: if you're listening and want to be a techpreneur or any kind of entrepreneur, you need to learn to focus, cool down, look for the low-hanging fruit, and then pluck it. Yeah, it's a low-hanging fruit, so pluck it. But so you would agree with me that it's important that people who want to start a business need to be able to focus, and then
focus is
kill the
key
noise
in starting the business. I'll give you examples. As typically you meet someone, I'm a serial entrepreneur, I have this and I have that, and in a span of 2 hours they can tell you about 5 different ideas they have, and that is it. They all remain ideas, and sometimes we start so many things, try to do so many things, you only end up scavenging one for the other. Can you just say, let me just focus on this, let me grow it to the point where it could stand on its own, and then possibly get the others? That's what we did. I said, this is what I want to do now. So for the next 2 years, I'm just going to commit to ENOB and nothing else. And over time, when it became much more stable and I have a solid team running that, I could now begin to gradually throw in the others. You build a discipline, you build a muscle. It's like you trying to lift 10 kg. and you start from day one of 10 kg, you're going to crash.
True.
But you may start with a 5 kg or possibly a 3 kg, add on a 2 kg, and gradually get on. And one reason lots of the people who have so many businesses struggle to do well is because they just try to lift a 10 kg or 20 kg from day one.
Right.
I mean, your back will break, your spine will suffer.
True.
Yeah.
True. You sound like you're very knowledgeable in business development. Like, it sounds like you have that experience. So, do you?
Well,
I know right now, yes, but prior to starting the business, did you? So I think that's a better way to put it. Did you have knowledge in business development before starting?
I think I'd say one thing, that the world is ruled by learners, not the learned. You cannot ever say you knew everything. I keep learning by the day. I love discovering new things. I like learning new things. So before I started, I've been reading. I schooled in some of these. I learned on my own, and I keep doing that. I never say I have it all. I mean, if you come into my car, there are like 4 books sitting in my car right now. If sometimes driving in traffic, I just plug in an audio book, just connect to my Bluetooth speaker in the car, just listen. So really we need to be learners, not the learned. It's only lawyers who can call themselves the learned. The rest of us, we are learners. We need to keep learning. Yeah.
Even them, are always continuously learning.
I mean, the learner is just a title, so you can't say I know business development. Again, the rules of business keep changing at the speed of light.
True.
What was relevant yesterday, what was taught in business school, if today you're still just talking about there's a 4 Ps and the days, you realize they're becoming obsolete. So we need to keep learning new things by the day.
Great. Now, for a techpreneur, we've been through a lot of people, like you mentioned, serial entrepreneurs. I met serial techpreneurs, and they're still really struggling. They're still trying to find their grounds in this country. Do you think techpreneurs have a place in this country?
So let me step back a bit. When we say techpreneurs or entrepreneurs, it's really about creating solutions to existing problems. Question is, whose problem are you solving, and who cares enough about the problem you're trying to solve? Sometimes, and there are some businesses I call vanity businesses. Something nice, it sounds sweet on paper. I can lift it to the moon and back in 2 seconds.
Give me an example.
I don't want to do that. I don't have personal security in my life yet.
Maybe I'm planning a vanity business in my head.
I don't have personal security yet. So and from Joy FM to my home is almost 1 hour 30 minutes of drive. So I
want to knock you off the road. Okay, we'll leave that.
So let me just leave it open and say vanity businesses.
Okay.
And it comes back to the question of whose challenge or whose problem are you solving? Who cares enough about the problem to want to pay you?
Right.
Those who care, do they constitute a big block, a big mass of people such that you can count on consistent revenue coming in? Or is there a particular force that want to pay? There are some businesses where you may not have lots of people, but it basically could be one buyer who is one big buyer. Do you have that kind of market or that kind of potential customer base? If you can answer these questions, that who cares, I know the person who cares, I know those who care, what kind of segments can I put them in, and how big is that force of those who care enough to want to pay? If you know that, and if you don't have a yes to these questions, then you are most likely building a vanity business, or you are building a business that is really for the long term. It's going to take you a long time for the market to really catch up with this kind of business.
Right.
And typically, in looking at business opportunities for techpreneurs and for any entrepreneur, there are basically 4 main quadrants that you may put in a business. There's a quadrant called the low-hanging fruit. I can win this quickly, and it takes little effort to do that. If you're able to get some of these low-hanging fruits, it gives you the energy to keep going. Then from there, you can also progress to the quick wins, and those are normally the gold mines that over time, beyond the low-hanging fruit, you could get some good revenue with not so much effort. Then you have the questionable opportunities where you're asking yourself, there's so much effort required to do this business, but the returns on this is going to be very minimal or next to nothing. It's a nice thing you want to do. If it's questionable, you don't do that. And then the final kind of business component is the moonshot. The moonshot is a type of opportunity which is, I like this. It looks good. It sounds good on paper. It's going to take a lot of effort to do that. but when I succeed, the returns will be huge. That's why I said the upside is sweet. With the moonshot, you typically want to put in a parking lot. So you pursue your low-hanging fruits, get things going. Eventually, you can add on the value and get to your next layer of the green opportunity. And eventually, see how you can pursue the moonshot, which is the big thing out there. So much effort, but when it hits, it's a jackpot.
Isn't it possible that people could miscalculate their low-hanging fruit and their moonshot? Someone may sit down and say, "Oh, this idea is a low-hanging fruit." Meanwhile, it's actually a huge moonshot.
It's a process. I say it simply in a few minutes, but
it's actually a process.
It's work trying to get that done.
Right.
You sometimes have people who fall in love with the ideas before the market falls in love with that. If you realize you've fallen in love too early with your idea, it's time to step back and ask people the right questions. And don't just ask family and friends. We are too nice in this country where your friends don't want to hurt your feelings. Oh, I like it. It's like going to the mall and finding these nice young men and women who are sampling products. They come to you, "Hi, sir, can you try this cup of juice?" And you try, it's 1 cup, it's free. And then they ask you, what's your feedback? "Oh, it's amazing, I like it." Then they ask you, "Would you buy?" And go like, "You let me go inside and come back." When I come back, but sometimes they just go use that other way and go. So because it was free sampling, they give you that nice feedback, but they never spend money buying. And typically, if you have your friends and family members giving you business feedback, sometimes it could be like that because they don't want to hurt your feelings. But just get out there to the market and can I find my visionary customer? Can I find somebody who want to pay for this solution as it is? If you're able to find that, possibly you're on your path to launching something good.
Very great. So another tip number 2, don't always listen to your family and friends. And family and friends, please, don't be lying to people. You're the ones who've been causing people to go for music auditions and then they go and embarrass themselves. You know those shows where they go and singing competition. A person goes to stand there, opens their mouth, and oh my goodness, it's horrible. Family and friends, we are responsible for our family, our friends. Don't lie to them. It's not good. Don't lie. Okay, that's great. Now, starting a business, a tech business in Ghana, developing a tech company in Ghana. It's something, even I have dreams of developing a tech company in Ghana. But sometimes you sit down and you think about it like, not everyone is very tech savvy in the country. And you're bringing a solution that is heavily tech dependent, tech literacy dependent. So you need people to be very literate in tech to be able to take advantage of that solution. Is that always the case? How easy or how difficult is it to develop a tech company in Ghana?
Yeah. So we have things changing. You have a rapidly growing middle class, quite educated, lettered, young people who are very tech savvy now and want to see. The challenge, however, some of these young people who are very tech savvy, question is, are they ready to pay for some of these solutions you are creating? They're happy to try all the free apps on the market. If it's free, why not? Once you get into the market segment that can pay for your solution, that is where the challenge comes in. Again, we have a community or society where people want to feel things they are buying. So, for example, if I have an online mall, clothing mall, and I'm selling various kinds of clothing or even shoes, there is a market that has people who want to see. I want to feel it. They want to hold it.
Yeah.
They want to put the dress on their bodies and turn in a mirror and say, "I want to buy this."
Right.
So that is a kind of cultural nuance that sometimes affects the viability of some of these digital businesses. And we see a lot of these digital e-commerce platforms in Ghana that come in, again, not mentioning any names, but they fold up at the speed of light. They come in with a big bang, and then with time, those who are surviving, let's not get it wrong, there's a lot of money being pushed in there. Of course, this is open news, so I can mention Jumia, for example. There is a lot of money being pushed into Jumia by the investors all over the place. So, and again, even in other markets, they're still folding up. Some of these are challenges that people want to think of. I had an entrepreneur who some time ago told me he wants to be the Alibaba of Africa, and I said, I wish you well. It's a different context we're talking about, different markets. I know that if I order a dress from China and I give them a size, it would come and it may fit me. I may order same dress from somebody locally, and I may have to do a little alteration before if it's
Very
fully.
true.
But again, there are a lot of tailors who are doing amazing, but because people have that perception that if you're buying a dress from a place, you need to be able to check it, it becomes difficult for people to just go out there. So we need to be able to situate some of the taste of our businesses within the context of the taste of the market. If you want to build any business, be it digital business or not, what is the market looking for, and how would they appreciate some of these things?
Great. Wow, that's a whole lot that I'm still processing, because it just opens my mind to realize that sometimes you're thinking about something from the wrong angle. We need to understand the market, basically, to know if actually the cultural nuance of the market, to know if that solution you're bringing could work.
Yeah.
And not just think, okay, because Amazon is successful internationally, starting an Amazon in Africa could also be successful. Maybe people just like to go and feel the clothes. So yeah, that'd be an opportunity for someone who's also building virtual reality or augmented reality to come up with tactile feedback, so I can feel the clothes when I'm actually not wearing it. Pay me if you do this. I gave you the idea. Yeah, I've copyrighted it in my head. If I see somewhere the person stole it, you heard it here on Geek Squad. Now, development in Ghana is a very huge, factor. And tech is something that we see problems and we're thinking, we could solve this with tech.
Yeah.
But sometimes we've had conversations where people ask, is it that our leaders don't know that you can use tech to do this, or you can use tech to do that? What is the role of tech in the development of this country?
Yeah, so there is a global conversation on ICT4D, tech for development, and the reality is that tech is an enabler. And again, we don't have to look at tech as just tech, but we talk about tech-enabled businesses. No matter what business I do, how could I plug in various amazing tech elements to enable my speed of takeoff, my speed of being able to scale across various countries, across the continent, and even beyond. So tech basically is a huge enabler of any sector you want to look at. If you want to talk about development, and I'll give examples like in health, in education, in transport, how we could use technology to essentially leverage on that to move to the next stage. If you talk about education, why are we in 2020 struggling too much to catch up with virtual learning or e-learning? Why are we just consumers of technology? Why are we basically take up everything from other places, but we are not creating content. We're not creating the right kind of systems, infrastructure to be able to make sure that schools can easily run e-learning without people having to always be in the classroom. Again, even if we're in a classroom, how could we have a professor, let's say from a South African university, connecting to a Ghana university to really share lessons seamlessly? There is a lot we can do with technology. Why should I still, in today's age, go sit in a hospital and wait for 3 hours for it to be my turn? Why can't we have hospitals? In fact, whether it's private or government, systems where people who at least can book. There are those who basically cannot do anything about that. But those who have an interest, those who want to be able to book online, can we have a system where you can just book it? If it says 7:30, you can walk in at 7:25 and know that by 7:30 it's going to be your turn. Having things to work with precision and accurately. Those are the kind of conversations that we need to drive. Again, question is, government, and I want to say government, I mean successive governments, are they aware of this or not? I think some of this we need to have a private sector force. We need to drive their agenda. We need to show the possibilities and let the government agencies know this is what is possible. With time, people will just catch up.
Great.
Yeah.
With time.
Yeah. And we see there is a lot of digital initiatives in the current government. So this shows you that if we're able to really show, if, for example, the government wanted to do and there was no tech developers who could do some of these things, it would just not happen. But we need to show the way that this is possible. Let's show the agenda. Sometimes we wait a lot, but can we create as we wait? And with time, they'll come up.
So you believe that with techpreneurs sorry, with more techpreneurs we have and the more tech solutions we have, we could actually boost the Ghanaian economy.
We can do a lot. I'll give you an example. Again, going back to our company DT Automation Systems Limited. We've spent years to develop the solutions. Now we're going out. Interestingly, there are some Ghanaian clients who we try to prospect. We knew they needed a solution. They didn't really give us audience to even do a demo. Interestingly, they were talking to another person in another country. Let me just put it that way for a same solution.
Trust me, I can relate.
And that person actually referred them that go meet these guys. They have what you need.
Wow.
And they came and we gave them that kind of, so it takes time, but you need to keep pushing. And for us, what we've done is really building a very diverse team. When we possibly look at even our business development director, he's South African, based in Johannesburg. And that is because he has experience from the oil. He's worked with 2 oil giants for about 15 years of his life, so he's an industry person, and this is something that we're building for a particular industry. So we engaged this BD director from that sector based in South Africa, and he's doing global calls, and we're basically talking to clients coming from Saudi Arabia, from Mexico, and what have you, and really selling this to them sitting right here in Accra.
Wow.
And that shows if all of these things are able to drive success in some of these other economies, then what is it about them that we're not noticing over here? Again, part of the solution is to make sense of data. How do you make sense of data from the oil sector, from daily trades, from the pumps, from the tanks, and what have you? And how do you possibly leverage on some of this data intelligently to make policies around some of these? Yeah.
Now, mention of how tech made all the stuff easy reminds me of how grateful, in quotes, we were to COVID, because it sort of accelerated people's adoption of tech. Would you say that if we had, sans COVID, would we have reached the levels we've reached now?
I would say that COVID came with its challenges, but also some blessings in disguise. It's made us see a lot of realities. I think for me, it's gotten to a point where somebody asks me for a meeting, I don't ask for venue, I ask you for the link.
I know, right?
Yes. I once had an email request for a meeting from this media house, and then that day I was supposed to go to Takrady. So when I got, and I just send them an email, you've not shared the meeting link. And they're like, oh, sorry, we are coming to your office. You realize that there is this new opportunity, the new normal, where people don't have to travel in 2 hours of traffic to go for a 1 or 45 minutes to 1 hour of a meeting and drive 2 hours back to their location. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make productivity sense. And with COVID, we are beginning to realize that you could literally do everything virtually. You see how radio stations have had to host programs, people in their homes, and turning homes into studios and what have you. You've seen schools who are running sessions online. You've seen training programs. We've had some of our accelerator programs move totally online with no physical meetings. So I believe that COVID, with its challenges, there has been some blessings in disguise, and if we're able to really, beyond, if there's ever a post-COVID world, we should be able to still leverage on some of the discoveries of COVID and make life more efficient.
Yes, absolutely, make life more efficient. I remember I had this mug that says I came out of a meeting that could have been an email. Because I really, really, really hated some meetings, because I felt, this could have just been an email shared around, everyone responds. But then again, yes, now we have virtual. We're grateful for it. But as a techpreneur, you have listed a whole lot of things that you do, and one that I'm waiting to hear is what actually drives you to, considering that you have how many businesses, like 5? You need a certain kind of fuel to be able to get there. We already understand that you have your zen, which calms you down, your calm, yes. So what's your driving force?
I think as a person, I'm driven quite by seeing good things happen.
Okay.
Not just to me, but to people as well.
Right.
I like to see results. I've been asked the same question by someone in my team. He says, Nelson, what drives you? You just always trying to do this, getting things done. You can leave work very late and still get in by 6 a.m. What keeps you going? I think I want to see results. I believe in, if you may, humans created in the image of God have that creative ability, and I think that the richest place on earth is the grave, where there is so much potential lying in all these tombs, and people just go. I want to just make sure I give the world my best before
you go.
Eventually I check out.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Now, speaking of checking out, what would be your greatest mistakes that you made in your techpreneurial journey?
Yeah, I think in my techpreneurial and entrepreneurial journeys, I've made quite some mistakes. In 2013, where we built a business, it was tech startup. I think within 4 to 6 months, we won an award in Africa, and I thought, okay, meant we were cruising well, but within 12 months after that, we had quite some challenges hitting us, and we had to literally put the business on the back burner or on the parking lot for a while. I've not gotten back to that business again. It's just passed.
For getting an award.
Aha.
Wow.
And that will bring back. So again, when we built, it was also, wow, let's build, the market will come. And people really get caught up in that kind of maze, where it's as if once you build a great business, the money would follow. If you don't get the business model right, the revenue model right. And I think we were too excited about the potential of the business that the revenue model was very wrong, and it was quite flawed. Over time, I just had to sit back and say, this is just not going to work as it is, and just park it. So, and a lot of entrepreneurs get caught up in all of this when you begin to ask questions about revenue. And sometimes people have all kinds of web platforms, and they'll, I'm going to get revenue from advertisement. I'm like, you need to go and find some of these big platforms. Go to my join line and ask them, how much money do you make on Google Ads and whatever. People think it's just sweet thing. You may end up having $4 per month from Google Ads if you get into some of these spaces. So really getting the revenue model mixed up in our first business. And for me, it was quite a pain, because I took a loan from a bank as a personal loan, and to basically get that business started. And when you look at how things should have gone and they never worked, you realize that it wasn't worth it. And sometimes you can avoid some of these mistakes just by sitting back and really evaluating or assessing the opportunity. You have something called a market opportunity navigator. Is there really an opportunity in this business? If you can do that well, you could avoid some of the mistakes that. And again, second one, don't get caught up in this early success thing, early celebration. We have a community that will hail you for really nothing done, just for an idea. Once you sit on radio, mention your idea, the next time somebody may give you an award. How do you make sure it doesn't give you a false sense of accomplishment and really let's get work done,
So don't pat yourself on the back too soon.
Too early,
Wait till you are a Bezos or a Gates, then you can finally, even them.
Not exactly. You need to celebrate milestones, but just don't let some of these implications get into your head too early.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned funding when you were talking about your mistakes. Lack of funding seems to be a huge problem starting businesses, especially for techies, because it's difficult to explain your tech idea to an investor who's not a techie, saying that, I'm going to build an API that is going to connect to this, and people can use. And the person is probably wondering, what on earth is this guy talking about?
Yeah.
You need my money to go and do API.
In simple terms, talk about the business. What is the business model? The technology is only an enabler of that business. The tech is the how. The question is, why are you doing business? What are you doing? Why are you doing it? Who are you doing it for? How did they pay you? Then how do you deliver the value is where you talk about the technology. I have a business that is into ABCD. Again, back to, just not to use anybody's example, I have a business that is supporting filling stations to be able to get accurate, timely reporting of their operations oversight. It's on the dot, per the second, is live. That is what I do. How do you do it? We have built an app. This basically is a mobile app, is a web app, and this really, at the click of a button on your phone, if you just go there, you'll be able to have complete oversight. If you have 100 stations, all of them at the same time. That is a simple solution. So I only talk about the app or the portal or the platform.
The how.
Is the how. If you have a business and you're not able to explain the what, the why, the who, and you couldn't talk about how you do it, then you cannot sell that business to potential partners. And that is what techpreneurs sometimes get caught up in. They just start, we've built an app that does it helps. No. What do you do? And why do you do it? Start from the why. You will be able to get things done.
That is very, very valuable information, guys. All the techies, techpreneurs, everyone listening, even regular entrepreneurs. I said regular because it's a tech show. I'm sorry. You're not any different from techpreneurs. I'm just giving my techies special treatment, as you would give to your people too. Yes. Rather unfortunate we have run out of time. Now, it was such a very educative conversation with Papa Nelly. Yeah, you see, Mr. Nelson. Madiba,
you seem to like the name.
I told you I like nicknames. It's easy, very easy. You know, and I've really enjoyed the conversation. I've learned a lot. Trust me. And I'm going to be starting my business. Yes. If you're listening, don't steal my idea. When you see it, it's going to be big. But definitely, I'm going to go and see Papa Nelly for more advice. Papa Nelly, where is...
Spiky.
I don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, Mr. Nelson, Madiba, thank you very much for coming. But if you want to find you, what's InnoHub? Where is... DT Automated Systems, Ghana Tech Lab. What are all these? Where can we find you?
So Ghana Tech Lab is just at Accra Digital Center, Circle, not far from here. Then we have InnoHub Grove Center at East Legon, which basically hosts InnoHub and then DTA. So
we'll find you out, and we'll definitely have you on again to talk more tech. Unfortunately, we've run out of our 60 minutes, and I had Mr. Nelson Madiba. He was talking about the trip to becoming a techpreneur on our Geeks Techpreneur series. My name is Kobby Spiky Nkrumah. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you everyone who watched us on live. And I will catch you next week with more tech stuff and tech stories.